Hello guys, welcome back again, and today we are going to look at what is the connection between politics and wealth making. Why do politicians make one of the richest people in Kenya? Why do politicians make or become most of the most rich people in Kenya? Why is it so? Because, for example, if you'll see after Indians, of which Indians, those are business oriented, those are people who have businesses that have stayed over decades. Now, we don't have an issue with them. Those are people who came and they were accepted as Kenyans. But for them, they're a bit different. They're not the indigenous inhabitants of Kenya. But why is it an indigenous Kenyan or a Kenyan inhabitant with a Kenyan descent, with a Kenyan ancestry, can only become among the richest if he is a politician or he is in one way or the other connected to politics? Number one, um, for this topic, I'm going to relate it mostly with how does procurement relate to politics. Now, recently, the transitioning of the previous government to this government, you saw that the Kenya Kwanza politicians, most of them were being politically castigated so that with maybe corruption cases, and you saw one thing with these cases, once the incoming politicians came, those cases were ditched. Why? Why is it so? And why were these cases not revised until it was time to change? Or why was it? Or is it because they were taking sides? Number one, the next thing, no, not number one, number two, I've realized that most politicians, politics is used as an avenue of amassing wealth. How? Is number one is because once people mostly it's hard for Kenyan to produce politicians who can bring development, because find people, they come in with genuine intentions, but you see there are these contractors, there are these people who have money, so they sponsor up the campaign with a name. They are investing in future, that once this person enters in power, it will be very hard for them not to get any contracts. And number two, number three, of course, I'm going to look at where as are these procurement cases of fraud or irregularities, are they only in Kenya? I'm going to give an example of fraud and corruption in WA Health. Now, this was concerned about the refurbishment and building renovation, which was to take place for 6 years. And I don't know where specifically this happened, but I suspect mostly it was in the USA. Now, the main findings that maybe made this a corruption case, because they say there was no contracts between WA Health and any consultant. Secondly, is that the procurement process was not followed. Thirdly, is that the procurement, the reason why it made that it took long before this procurement process could be known is because there was poor supervision and financial control. So it was hard to detect fraud. Another place where corruption did take place apart from Kenya, there's no perfect government, and we have individuals who have self-interests. Is it that for one to become or to become among the top richest people in Kenya, you have to have a political connection? Why is it that for you as an indigenous, as the original inhabitant of Kenya, for you to make it to the top, you need politics or political connections? Why is it made up of most of top politicians? And what is the relationship between politics and uh, wealth making? Remember, if you go to look at mostly politicians who came recently, you find out that after their term of that ends, from the MCAs, once they enter into power until the period that ends, you find that they totally transform. Number one is because they have good salaries, Remember, you can give an example of MP Salasia. Remember MP Salasia giving up his story that he used to live in a one-bedroom house with all those troubles that he had, and now certainly someone from earning very little money end up earning 1 million. That's a big transformation. And secondly is, for example, you could hear the women rep for it. Is it Pomet Toto? I don't know. I don't remember very well where she comes from. When she was at JK Live, when she was interviewed, she said that after graduating with her diploma, she used to work at the area market and earn up to 200 a day. If you calculate, that is almost let's say 10,000 roughly. Why? And you see, there's a huge transformation from this amount of money to earning almost 1 million a month, even owning a house, owning a car. So does politics contribute to wealth making? That's the first reason. Yes. The second thing is about procurement. Politicians tend to interfere or are the one who influence procurement irregularities, mostly in counties. Remember, as the constitution stipulates, it says that the one who is in charge of a procurement process is this person we called the accounting officer. And who is this accounting officer? In an hospital, accounting officer is this one person we call the medical superintendent, is the one who is in charge of the procurement process. Secondly, in the county government, who is this accounting officer? Who is the CEO? The CEO is this particular guy, the governor. And that's why you find out that there have been cases of corruption in county governments. You remember, we have had county governors being impeached, like Sonko. We had Waititu. With their cases, there was a lot of corruption cases. And what is the relationship between them and procurement? You tend from the recent one, Governor Paranya, who has been taken to court. uh, it is said that this governor received kickbacks from 6 companies that received a tender of 2.2, is it 2 point something billion shillings, and received kickbacks. And at the end of it all, there was some sort of conflict of interest. Remember, even that MP from Embakasi North, the one who said that he received maybe 50 million and he gave the tenders to his own people. So you find that because they are in charge of the procurement process, they tend to interfere with it so that it can favor them. That's why. And for me, I believe that for you to hear a procurement case in Kenya has gone to court, it must have been politically castigated. We remember before the transition from the recent government to the current government, then why did it take long? Why was it that these cases of corruption, like for Gachagua and others, to be prosecuted? Does it mean that the government covers up for corruption cases that happen to government officials? Because we are told that Gachagua was a personal assistant for President Uhuru, and for all that time, he was not questioned. Does it mean that politicians know they are wrong and they tend to only castigate or to prosecute these cases when it's not in their favor? That's the point. Number three, we heard about the Taita Taveta county government, where it was said that politicians, even those who did not go, they received excess per diems, and they did not follow the set procedures that were set to make for them to go to a vacation in Zanzibar. Now, for those per diems they get, they were told they were excess per diems. So now we have checked that, number one, these politicians, they make money through the salaries that they accumulate. Secondly, we have said it's kickbacks. And thirdly, is excess per diems. And fourthly, we say that you know some of them tend to interfere with the procurement process by awarding themselves tenders. So that's the third way politicians make money. And why are these cases not brought to the court early. You know, for you to be prosecuted, then we have to have someone who prosecutes you. And the one who is in charge possibly is the director of public prosecution, and possibly the DCIs. If these bodies are contaminated with politicians, then you find out that Kenyan will lose a lot of money because politicians tend to interfere with maybe the auditing, maybe the prosecution of these people, and they only react to the opponents. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being with me.